questions can,
Sure.
anyone who has question can write their questions to Dr. Dolly Sunny. She's a professor of economics and a very, very knowledgeable person. You'll get a lot of knowledge. She was director of ICSR. So how to get fund is how she can guide you, and a person who can be an excellent resource person in any conference or seminar. Is also Board of Studies chairperson, economics. So you can please, Madam, dosresearch at gmail.com and dollys at economics.nu.ac. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Uh,
Thank you.
Ashwani Balla sir is already there.
Yeah.
Sohana, where is Sohana? Hello. Hello.
I think Sohana.
Yes,
Yeah.
please start, Sohana.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Commerce is the equalizer of the wealth of nations. Would now like to introduce to you all our next guest of honor, Dr. Ashwini Kumar Bhalla, Professor, Postgraduate Department of Commerce, Business Innovation and Research at Satish Chandra Dhawan Government College, Ludhiana. Secretary Faculty of Business Management and Commerce, Punjab University, Chandigarh. President, Punjab Commerce and Management Association. Member, Research Board in Commerce, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Program Coordinator, Postgraduate, Department of Business Innovations and Research at Satish Chandra Dhawan Government College, Ludhiana. Sir is a member of Undergraduate and Postgraduate Board in Commerce, Punjab University. Secretary, Internal Quality Assurance Cell. Finance Secretary, Higher Education Institute Society. Areas of research includes financial services, government policies from the economic aspects, foreign direct investment, marketing channels, international financial reporting standards, and many as such. Has received multiple awards. Sir has received an Excellence Research Award at University Grant Commission International Conference, Punjab. Management Excellence Award by Himachal Pradesh Commerce and Management Association, Shimla. Best Research Paper Award, Lovely Institute of Management, Phagwara. Gold Medalist for achieving first class first position in Masters of Commerce, Amritsar. Published around 9 books on various topics. Have presented and published multiple papers at national and international seminars and conferences. Attended numerous refresher courses, orientation programs, faculty development programs, and training programs. It's a privilege to have your presence, sir.
Thank you.
May I request?
Thank you very much for nice introduction. The most respected Dr. Kuldeep Kumar, Dr. Sachin Varanekar, Dr. Anjum Ara, Dr. Akil Said, Dr. Benny, Dr. Dolly Sunny, and Dr. B.T. Lavani. It's my privilege to share my views among the galaxy of the people of economic experts. And it is a great initiative of the Rizvi College, Mumbai, and the Parle University that they have all provided a framework and a platform to all of us so that we can share our views on a very important topic, that is economic slowdown of India. The discussion on this topic is very much needed at all forums so that the economic front of India on various counts can be discussed. There are a number of issues which needs to be dealt with on the economic front. First, we have to conceptualize the real picture of the economy without any bias. There are many theories which are presented by the political parties and various experts on the economic front. Some are portraying the gloomy picture. Some are saying that there is a very good picture and we are recovering from all kind of exigencies. And here it is very important to identify the role of various stakeholders to set the house in order. In the beginning of this international conference, Dr. Sachin Varnekar presented a hope before all of us by just quoting the statement of International Monetary Fund that Indian economy is going to bounce back with the 8.8% growth rate, which was in 4.2% in 2019 and 20. So therefore, there are a number of hopes which has been given by the various researchers also. It has been said that India is a fast growing economy in the world, which is shortly will take up and cross China. But on the other hand, Dr. Benny has cautioned us that by 2030, India will be the most populous country in the world, which will also overtake China. Dr. Varnekar has said that we have to learn so many things from the past and we have to be visionary enough so that we can learn, unlearn, and relearn and propose strategies to face the future, because the pandemic situation we are facing is not going to be over very soon, because we have to live with this and we have to chalk out the strategies how can strengthen ourselves on the economic front so that the inclusive growth of the society can be ensured. Though Dr. Varnekar has said that we have lesser amount of technology, but it is rightly said that we are jugadis. We can overcome any kind of situations, and prevention is better than cure. There are a number of issues which we have to deal on our total front of our India. That is, we have to fight against the corruption. We are running a parallel economy which has shattered our economic system on many fronts, and business and industry are the victims of high level of corruption which prevents them to grow. There is a very important need to have political consensus in the biggest issue of the economic. Though it may be on the front of demonetization, it may be on the front of GST, or it may be on the front of the farmer bills. I am a citizen of the Punjab, and I know the whole Punjab is burning because of the farmers bills which has been presented in the parliament. And total economy of the Punjab is shattered till now. Everything is closed. Rails are not working. Buses are not working. Business establishments are under fear. And the farmers are not in the fields and the farms. They are on the roads, streets, on the railway tracks. So we must focus on the consensus of the economic system, because of the farmers are very important organs of our economy, and most of the 65% and more population is based on the farming activities in India. So therefore, it is very important whenever we discuss any policy, whenever we discuss any outcome of the policy, we must consider that we should not sideline our farmers, our laborers, our locals in the name of the politics. Farmers are the very important aspect of our economy, and without farmers, our economy is not there somewhere. And small traders and small manufacturers are also backbone of our economy, providing bread and butter to the largest segment of our society. So therefore, my presentation will not be focusing on whatever the schemes has been made by the government. My presentation will not be focused on what the IMF is saying, or what the World Bank is saying, or what the research papers at the world level are saying, or what the economists are saying. My presentation will be based on the actual what is happening on the ground, being representing the Industry Association of the Punjab Commerce and Management Association. We are dealing daily with the industry experts. We are dealing daily with the experts and the real stakeholders of the industry and business who are telling their problem, what is happening on the ground. So therefore, I'll be focusing on not on what has been done by the government, but I'll be focusing on what is the real problems are there and what should be the solution for that from the perspective of the business and industry, so that we can give some inputs to the government and they should gear up their policies to overcome all these. Forget about what the IMF is saying. Forget about what the World Bank is saying. Let us concentrate what our farmers, small scale industry people, and the people on ground, the facing their problem, what kind of situations they are facing, and how can we overcome them. Let me share my screen with you. Ma'am, please close down your screen which you have opened.
Sarah, please close. Sohana,
close down the screen which you are.
Sarah, please.
Sarah, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay, it's okay now. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So my presentation will be focusing on India's economic slowdown, business and industry perspective. So I will be just speaking on that by sharing some of the inputs regarding this. As far as Indian economy is concerned, Indian economic situation, current economic situation is concerned, it stems from two crises. First, the slowdown in the economic growth and the investment that predated the pandemic. And the second, the shock of the coronavirus pandemic. Let us take an example and let us take some part of the history regarding this. We are facing a persistent crisis of the growth. Let us take an example of the 90s and 2000s. India had an impressive growth run for the democratic country. While economic growth slowed down in some years due to exogenous shocks, that Asian financial crisis in 1997, a major drought in 2000, and the global financial crisis in 2008. Each time the country made a speedy recovery. After the crisis in 2008, the economy recovered quickly and growth in investment and economic output was robust for the 2 years. It seemed that Indian economy had become resilient. It saw a sharp slowdown beginning in 2012, but showed some recovery between 2014 and 17. But the economy has slowed down significantly since then, with the GDP growing by 8.3% in 2017 to only 4.6% in the first 3 quarters in the fiscal year 2020, that is between April and December 2009. Growth was obviously low in the fourth quarter as well, but this might have been due to the least in part of the pandemic situation. The lack of, and some acceptances are there. We must accept that there are certain reasons for that. And each time we face a crisis, we try to recover from that. But some acceptances are that lack of reforms in the factor markets and governance failures and have made it difficult for the economy to grow. We are facing the total crisis in the political situation. Though we have a democratic government at the center, they have a powerful majority with them, but still our opposition parties, very small in number, they are creating so many bottlenecks. And on the part of the government also, they are not in a position to create a consensus among them. So there is a one part of ego from the government sector, and on the other part, there is a crisis from the opponent sector that we are not in a position to form the policies with the consensus, and there is very much difficult for the economy to grow. Indeed, the relative lag in reforming factor markets and some products markets such as agriculture has been a long-running theme in India's political economy, with the slow pace of reforms often being blamed for the economic failure to show continued dynamism. And by the end of 2019, the economic slowdown had become quite severe. And this was underscored by 5 facts. Number one, almost every engine of the economy was sputtering. Consumption growth had been slow for the 4 quarters, and the capital formation had been shrinking for the 2 quarters. The slowdown has persisted despite fiscal and monetary reforms effort to boost economic growth, because most of the people in the country are just deviated from the main agenda of economic growth, but they are focusing on the other agenda of the political reasons. Since 2018, the growth in government finance consumption has far outpaced overall economic growth. In the 3 quarters between April and December 19, the growth in government finance consumption was just 11.2%, while overall GDP grew at 4.6%. The central bank had loosened its monetary policy stance since early 2019 to partially address the fall in the consumptions. They are not in a position to boost the consumption sector, and the pandemic situation has further worsened the situation for all of us. And the slowdown was sharp and across sectors. It is not there only one sector is affected. Between April and December 2019, both industry and services registered their lowest growth rate since beginning of the decade. and growth slowed down in 2019 despite a fall in the trade deficit. There was a considerable uncertainty about the real depth of balance sheet crunch. It's severely become apparent when Yes Bank, a major private bank that had reported adequate capital until December 2019, nearly failed suddenly in the March 2020. There is a shock of pandemic also. It is not only that pandemic has ruined our economy or we are having a lowest growth. It is also having a predated causes predated to the pandemic also. The long pause in the economic activity due to the lockdown has predictably tough for the economy, and unemployment rate so scaled from 8.4% in the week just before the lockdown to 27% in the middle of the lockdown. As expected, most of the other indicators also dipped. And soon after the lockdown was eased, economic activity bounced back. So with the hope that IMF is giving this kind of statement that we'll grow and bounce back to the 8.8% growth. A variety of indicators such as electricity generation, consumption, production and sale of vehicles, steel production and consumption and purchasing managers index registered an upturn. Yes, most indicators remained well below the level seen in the corresponding period of the previous years. Unemployment almost came back to the pre-lockdown level. Most of the increase in unemployment during the lockdown was in the category of small traders and wage laborers. They have been the worst hit. Dr. Benny has pointed out various schemes for the small trader, MSME sectors, for the startups, but once the lockdown was lifted, they got back to work, but perhaps with a lower kind of earnings. Still, they are not in a position to cope up with the situation which they were having in the last year before the pandemic situation was there. So this corona outbreak India has expected to lose over 32,000 crore every day during the pandemic situation. And up to 53% of the businesses in the country were projected to be significantly affected. And 92% of the Indian labor, which was in the unorganized sector, has no work and they had lost their jobs. This is a hard reality, and these are the official figures of the government of India. And supply chain have been put under very stress. Still, we are not in a position to cope up with the normal supply chain as it is expected after the lockdown period is over. So various businesses such as hotels and airlines are cutting salaries and laying off their employees. Even madam was talking about the education sector in Punjab, because I am from the education also and dealing with the educational institutions. We have observed that many of the colleges which are in the unaided sector, they have cut down the salaries of their teachers. They are working from home. They are giving just less than 50% of the salaries to them, claiming that we are in the unaided sector, but they are charging the full fee from the students. So this is one kind of another area where exploitation is there. So our Prime Minister's dream of 5 trillion economy is washed away for the time being. We have to take another 10 years to think about it. And our manufacturing sector, real estate sector, accommodation sector, food sector, tourism sector has been severely affected. 10.5% of the work hours has been reduced. Large segment of our population, that is 25.7% in the rural area and 13.7% in the urban segment, is living near poverty line, has been severely affected. Startup almost been finished. We have so many schemes, but after the lockdown period, still the startups which were earlier geared up before this pandemic situation are not in a position to work accordingly. So out of the 130 crore population, 24.5 crore Manrega workers were not able to earn anything during this period of lockdown, and still their situation is not very better. And there is a major concern in the post-lockdown period. If you look at the World Bank report, labor supply shortage. I am living in the industrial city of Ludhiana, Punjab, which is known as the Manchester of the Punjab. Hosiery products, but most of the tiny, small scale industry people are not able to run their businesses because of the labor supply shortage. Still, the migrant people who moved to their native places during this pandemic situation, they are not in a mood to return back. And this has posed a major crisis to the industry as well as the agriculture sector in Punjab. And their trade cost is going to be very increased. Let us take one simple example. A thela which was used to carry some kind of goods from one place to another place, which was charging 200 rupees per run, and now they are demanding 300 or 350 rupees per run. So a small manufacturer, a small trader, how will they will be able to cope up? Because the people are in the shortage supply, so therefore their trade cost is going to increase on the one hand, and secondly they are not having a much demand because the demand is also shrinking. They are not able to sell their products in the market. So how they are going to cover this trade cost is a very, very important aspect which we must focus on. And post-lockdown, public has cut down their expenditure and at least 60% cut, which is going to severely affect the every sector of the economy. Let us take your own examples. When you are as a teacher working in the colleges and universities, you may have cut down expenditure on various fronts during this pandemic situation, and still with the hope that you may feel some exigencies in the future, you may be cutting your own expenditure again. And this cut down of your expenditure is going to lower the demand in the market. And if the lowering of the demand is there, on the other hand, supply which is produced by the manufacturer, if it is going to at the same pace, this is going to affect the plight of the manufacturer who are working in this field. So remaining 40% which will spend only on the daily needs, that is grocery item, and there is a major shift which is expected in the buying behavior of the customers, which is a major concern for the research for all the people we are sitting here. Most important is the tourism industry is going to be finished for the time being. Our regions like Himachal Pradesh, Northeast states, which are totally based on the tourism, they are not in a position to cope up still now with the fear of the how they will manage their minimum cost, which they have to spend. Even then, their hotels are shut down. This is a very, very important aspect which we must concern, because these are the ground level situations. And if we look at the industry perspective of the economic slowdown, we are facing four situations. Number one, lower consumption rate. Indian consumers are spending less on everything from toothpaste to automobile. And there is a rising unemployment. The latest report of the NSSO highlight that the unemployment rate of India is at 6.1% and witnessing a 45 years high. And unemployment equals to no earning. And without any source of income, the spending capacity also decreases, which is going to have a vicious circle in the economy. Low demand. Low sale, that already declining sale reached to its peak, resulting in many factories to stop further manufacturing process and causing over 2 lakh job losses. The automobile sector contribute more than 20% in the Indian manufacturing GDP. They are facing crisis. And there is a liquidity crunch for the manufacturers, small traders, and medium and small scale enterprises. So this is the industry perspective, the situation they are facing. We may have on the face of it very good policies announced by the Honorable Finance Minister of India on television that 2 lakh crore has been given. Nothing is happening on the ground. And if you look at the India's exports, Indian export in April 2030 fell down by 36.65% year on year, while imports in April 2020 fell by 47.3, which is bound to be, because when you are not exporting, you are not importing some kind of raw material, machinery, etc., for which we spend more. So there are various segments where our exports has come down. It means export has come down. The most of the part of the Ludhiana industry, which is the export industry, which is producing the goods for exporting to the other countries, how they are going to cope up their manufacturing process in the industry, how they are going to bear the minimum cost which they are facing. This is a question mark for all of us. And as a policy maker, if somebody is from the government of India or from the states, if listening, please focus on the demands of the farmers and small manufacturers. They are the backbone of our economy. If they are not able to cope up, there will be a civil war in the country. I'm just cautioning you. This is going to be faced a very critical situation in the future if we are not focused on all these things, all these aspects. There are severely affected industry sectors: financial services sector, auto sector, information technology sector, foreign direct investment, mutual funds, cement, crude oils. These are all facing a crisis in these days. On the face of it, just on the statement of the International Monetary Fund that we are going to bounce back, this is not going to happen unless we design certain kind of strategies as a stockholder, not as a stakeholder from the government part only, but as a stakeholder from the society also. And here, very important, Ratan Tata's statement is there, which is applicable not only from the industry point of view, but from the government point of view also. There he said that year 2020 is not a year of profit, but of the sacrifices and saving life on the earth. Still, this pandemic situation is not over. Anytime this may again reverse, because still we have not able to find out the vaccine. So this year and the coming year is going to not be year of the profits. Here, the psychology of the industry and the psychology of the government must also change and coincide with each other. We have to change the parameters to observe the economic growth need to be redefined. Not in terms of the percentage in the growth in the GDP, but in terms of happiness and health index of the citizens, in terms of social security of the population, and in terms of quality of the human resources, and in terms of quality of the immunity of the population. We have to think. We have to give immunity to every sector of the economy. This is not only a government role, but as a society as a whole, we have the role to play. And here, on the part of the industry leader, we have to redesign our growth strategies. We have to share our profits with the customers and other stakeholders. If our own objective, there are a number of instances in the society where the industry people, large industry people, has tried to reap the profits out of this situation. This is not a good situation. And we have to be honest as a taxpayer, as an individual, producing environmentally safe products and services and efficient pricing which suits all the stakeholders. We have to, as Dr. Benny talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Prime Minister is also focused on the indigenous industry, indigenous technology, giving importance to MSMEs. These are not just slogans. These slogans must come on the ground for implementation. If somebody speaks from the TV that local for vocal, vocal for local, but in reality, everything we are buying, everything we are using, that is just on the basis of the international or multinational products. It means we are not focusing on that, and we have to explore the possibility of using the local raw material. And most of the industry in Ludhiana is now redesigning their strategies. They are focusing on local machinery. They are focusing on the local raw materials, so that the production, we must be Atmanirbhar for all aspects. We have to convert this crisis into an opportunity. India must treat recovery from the coronavirus pandemic as an opportunity to remedy long-standing problems with the economy. If left untreated, these problems could precipitate other crises also. This will lead to creation of the other crises also. And here the manpower management is very, very important. Another looming issue post-lockdown period will be the lack of the workforce or manpower. Most of the workers are migrant in industry, and they are not in a position to work, return to their back to home. So companies will end up operating at very low capacity, and this require a business to business to take up the substantial measures for the worker safety and providing benefits like housing near the work of the place. Businesses will also require to think out of box and establish processes to employ available workforce efficiently, and the government has to be supportive in this kind. For example, multiple shifts as an available workforce cannot work together due to COVID-19 guidelines. providing other benefits to the worker, utilizing available capacity of the units. And here the scientific approach is needed, that is strengthening the Make in India initiative, commercialization of the indigenous technology, bringing innovations in all aspects of the life, development of the technology driven transparent public distribution system, efficient rural healthcare delivery, drastic reduction of the imports, and adoption of emerging technology domains like artificial intelligence. Here the students of the engineering college and the universities must focus on how to utilize the artificial intelligence for the well-being of the human being and the species, looking after both demand and supply challenges. And self-reliant supply chain need to be developed. Total focus on the self-reliance villages we have to adopt. Brand equity need to be redefined. Every citizen has to become brand ambassador for local made products and services. Indian made brands needed to be given more importance, and our demand pattern needs to be changed from that. Our lifestyles need to be reoriented. We have to change our priorities. We have to redefine our priorities from individual to the government. If the government will be focusing on all petty issues, if political parties will be fighting just to lure the vote banks and not focusing on the real issues of the national state, then we will not be able to cope up. Other countries will surpass it. We are talking that by 2030, our growth rate will surpass China. But mind you, if you continue to fight on the petty issues on the political front, your economic front will not be very, very efficient. We have to become our own brand. We should not focus, but the other countries are doing. Our situations are different. Our demands are different. So we must focus on all these things. And we have to develop a new vision. Synergetic rethinking is required at all levels. An honest and visionary approach have to be developed for new India is required. A broad plan to deal with corona type exigencies need to be developed. And this has given a rise to the unanticipated demand, and COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the supply chain across the globe, and it will be very difficult for the businesses except essential goods or FMCG sector to predict from where and what level of demand will come. Businesses should activate scenario planning teams, and these teams will help to cover multiple demand scenarios and plan solutions accordingly, managing other stakeholders like vendors to ensure. And businesses have started, there is a liquidity crunch in the market. Businesses have started facing massive working capital cash flow issues due to the lockdown, and they will continue even post that because of the reduced demands. So MSME sector startups are the worst hits, though the government has started and taking many steps for MSMEs through SIDBI and others. But to help these small businesses, government can also procure from MSMEs and startups, thus helping to sustain. So government first focus that whatever the purchase they may made from the MSMEs and startups. Our supply chain need to be strengthened. After the lockdown is lifted, the most crucial thing is to make sure that we are on the path of exponential growth in the physical supply chain that operates on others. So as a country, we would have to define clear guidelines on the movement of the goods, and the states, businesses and industry bodies would need to work together in making all these changes happen. So this is the situation of the ground realities. We are facing so many hiccups in growing our industry and business point of view. So though on economic front, we have so many things and even Dr. Benny has said that many startups are working only in the Karnataka and Maharashtra. We have to have a clear cut and strengthened policy for all of us. And our political leaders should adapt, and then lead. It doesn't mean they should play political and petty things, ruining the life of the people. The ground reality is very, very difficult situation. Everybody has to work jointly to cope up with all these. So I hope the conference which Dr. Anjum has geared up to discuss the economic front of India to present a real picture to all of the people living in the country, so that they can understand the real situation and work accordingly, and compel the government to take right decision at the right time. And as a citizen, whatever our role is there, that should be immediately we must play, so that our economy can work and play the important role in our society. So thank you very much. If any question is there, then I would be love to answer all these. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It was an excellent deliberation. I really very grateful. Swana, as to participants, sir, can you please share your email ID
uh,
so they can
okay, I'm
send
just
their
sharing in
questions
the
to you?
chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I may now request the co-host, Ms. Nagma Sheikh, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, to introduce the chairperson for today's international conference.
Swana, 1 minute. We have two international key speakers. Chairperson also joined. Sabir Ali sir is there with us, and even Khalikuzzama sir is already joined. So I think so, and all the chairpersons are waiting for their technical session. Sabir Ali sir is there. Sir, you have joined. Yeah, sir has joined from Dover, and Kuldeep sir was already there from Australia. Sabir Ali sir, you can hear me? He is talking to someone else. Huh? Anyway, he will be speaking during his session.